You speak as though I have conquered death. I live death every day. I am surrounded by it, smothered by it. Look at you now. He would have everlasting life. You seek to defy death, yet you cannot even defy sleep. And our like sleep is to death. It is a painted death.
You think you are free, that your decisions are your own. Tell me honestly, did you really choose this path? Or was it chosen for you? Your father, with every triumph, every failure, was it not his decisions that brought you here? Has his path not sealed your own? Marked out in golden bricks below your very feet. The path is set. Keep your head up. Keep your weapon loaded. Follow the battle brick road.
I remember childhood without any friends. Just me and my imagination. So I made up my own friend. Crim's my best bud. I don't know what I'd do without him. But there's some things we should keep locked away. Not the imaginary friends, but the imaginary fiends. Crim, where are you?
What is up, everybody? How are you doing? Welcome to SHANTH ENJETI Art. I am SHANTH ENJETI. It has been a minute, far too often, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. We'll talk a little bit about art and painting. As you can see, I have this beautiful painting on my desk right now for the LUCENT 2, Painted Death. We're also going to make sure we shout out Battle Brick Road 2, which is on its way to 25K, and I like the way that sounds. Shout out to my man Eric Weathers, but let's see who we've got here in the chat first and foremost. We, of course, had the man himself up here, Thirst, as he likes to say. Indeed. We have got the Alpha, the Omega, my main man, my can of spam, it's all about money, Stephen Rockwood, drawing the first channel member, and my ride or die brother. Much love. Thank you for being here. We've got Paulus Arts in the house. It is great to see you, Paulus Arts. We've got Siege Perilous here. It's great to see you, Siege. We've got Madness Comic Network here. It is great to see you, Madness Comic Network. We've got Haldir 6480. Gosh, I'm always struggling with reading these days. Every day. It's great to have you here, brother, and I hope you are doing well. Let's see who else we've got. We've got the groomsman, my brother from another mother. It's great to see you, and the legendary Amanda B. It is great to see you, Amanda B. And, of course, the great hostman, Socrates. It is great to see you in the house, or as Bill and Ted would say, so great. But it is great to see you, hostman, Socrates. All of you fine people in the house. Holy cow. So let's talk a little bit. Let's see what's up, you know, with all you fine folks. Uh-oh. It's the Art in Times of Jay Ryan. He says, hello, Shanth in chat. Hello to you, Art in Times. It is great to see you, my friend. Another... Timmy Mello, let me tell you something. I was thinking about you when I made that post today, that Twitter post of the new Iron Age artwork. That is how much you are often on my mind, brother. So it is great to see the great Timmy Mello in the house. What is up, my friend? Always got my back. Timmy Mello, much love, man. And so, yeah, so we're going to talk about a couple of things today. I want to talk about Paradox real quick, and this is a big one. Paradox is an important thing in my life. So, I have not been streaming a lot lately, and you will often see this from me towards the end of the summer. And this is because I am a true blue introvert. I dwell in isolation. I work best in isolation. I recharge in isolation, but I also work at home. And so in the summer, my entire family is in the house, and it is very hard to work in your studio at your house when your family is around you all the time, because it's hard for me to get totally focused on this stuff as an introvert. And actually, as much as I love being here with my family, it sort of is exhausting, and it starts to drain my ability to do this, my ability to work, all of that stuff. Yes, Sharon living rent-free in Sean's head. What is up, Mighty Geek Studios? It is great to see you, my friend. And so here's the thing, though. Here's the funny thing. I've been talking to a bunch of people about this phenomenon that they claim happens. They claim it happens. Called post-project depression, and feeling down after you wrap up a project. And I remember I sent Nosfero, got the proof, all of the various stages of it, and they felt big, they felt powerful. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that I had post-project depression, or I was feeling sad or down or whatever. But I will tell you, they were right on one sort of score, which is I did start feeling kind of low energy and down. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was having trouble connecting and getting into my work, which is frustrating because I want to work all the dang time. And I finally realized that in a way it's kind of post-project depression in a sense. And this is what it is. My kids are turning 18. And my kids are in their senior year of high school, and I did not realize, because I try not to have normal human feelings, how much those little rugrats, those little boogers, mean to me. And being a dad and all of that stuff, it hits you sometimes. And I'm one of those people to where there is not a feeling that can't be repressed if necessary, but I find it is not great in the long run. And when you have twins, a lot of these big milestones happen at the same well, they do. They happen at the same time for your kids, depending on. I mean, it's tough to say. And I started just thinking of all of these times in my life with these little guys at various stages, and it was something I kind of just, I didn't know that's what was going on, but then all of a sudden, it just sort of hit me, and I was like, oh my God, like, I miss these little guys when they were tiny. Now they're taller than us. They're running around, you know what I'm saying? And it gets you, man. It gets you, and it's crazy, man. That's right, there you go. It's very fast, and I was sitting here and I was thinking about it, and it's not because it's like, oh, I can hear the bunny thumping his feet. It's not because, oh, I didn't I didn't spend enough time with my kids, or oh, I wish we'd done more of this or more of that. None of that stuff. It was straight up, my God, I love those little boogers so much, and I just sort of had to sit back and kind of let myself process that today, because it's, everybody always says that it's all like, it goes by so fast, and then other people say, which I believe, is that you're a parent till you're in the ground, and all of that stuff. But it is a hell of a thing, and it's a huge part of, I always try to, when I come on here and when I do my streams, I've heard people talk about it, that a lot of YouTubers burn out because they're driven by this or that, and I'm always like, well, I'm driven by what I'm doing, by this work, which is sort of what my stream was about today, man. It was sort of what my post was about today, and what the stream is about, which is, I just work, so I don't really have as much of an issue with that. And the thing that really kind of got me about it was that you got to, I think it's easier to not burn out when you're not lying, when you're honest, and when you're talking to your audience and there's no BS you're making up. And I want to come on here and I wanted to be, want to be positive, enthusiastic, and passionate, and I was just feeling like, I'm a quart low, what the hell is this about? So I didn't want to come on here and be, like, oh, blah, blah, and I just can't do it anyway. It's not my bag. And it really was, I just needed to take some time to reflect on how much I love being a dad, how great this giant first chunk of the adventure was. And I'm frankly unbelievably pumped about the stuff I'm doing. But as you guys know, because you guys have been watching me, you've watched me create Nosfero, you've watched me create this piece for Michael and Razorfist and all this stuff. I can't, there's no subterfuge, there's no bullshit in any of the stuff that I'm doing. There's no cap. That'll mortify my children. But there's no BS in any of this stuff, man. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the people that will remember you worked later, your kids. Yeah. No, it's very true, man. And let me tell you something. There's this picture of my daughter that I'll never forget, which was because I was so far away for work. There was this picture of my daughter, and she's hugging a shirt I wore the day before, because she misses me, and that picture always gets me. But we're gonna talk a lot about painting, about the process, about the art, and about some of the Iron Age stuff I'm doing. I'm actually really pumped today. I really want to get you guys, as excited as I am about all of this stuff, all this cool stuff going on. The second Nosfero proof is outstanding. And that's the best way I could put it. The team that I work with just did a great job. They sent me the first proof. The first proof was fine. I mean, it was well done, but the files were just too dark. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm back streaming. And yeah, it's great to see you, 40% Zed, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, basically you need a new project. Well, I think the new project, Mighty Geek Studios, as terrifying as this may be to say, my wife wants to fill the house with bunnies. So that's where we are. What is up, Hen? How are you doing? It is great to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, my wife is obsessed with our pet rabbit, and I have a feeling we're going to have a full house with rabbits at some point. Very soon, I'm thinking. But the thing about it is that they did a great job on this Nosfero proof, because I want, when you guys get this thing, I want you guys to see what I see when I look at the painting. See if this focuses. It's a little blown out because I have to adjust the gamma when I'm painting, as you can tell from my hands. But this is really what it's about. It's about getting all of that stuff to look as beautiful as I can make it look via the print process. And that's what we're seeing right here. That's what this is about. And so as I've been, as I color correct, because reproducing paintings is a little tricky in the print process. But this is my third sort of book, so it's not, it's nothing that's new for me. And the book is substantial. It's like the soft cover of the Shadow 1941. It's that kind of beautiful paper stock. Oh, it's gonna be glossy. It's gonna be breathtaking. And then the pages inside are really thick and really great. And I can't. It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful object, and I love it, man. It's absolutely, that sword is very, very Roman. And so this September has kind of felt more like autumn, yes, than summer, and not the awesome kind of autumn, but the mech kind of autumn. I felt that a little bit too, Timmy Mello. My wife and I were talking about that the other day. And so in addition to all of this kind of introspection and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure that I've come up with the title for Nosfero 2. And I think it's going to be called, today I decided, I think it's going to be called Nosfero 2, of course. Death Will Die. That is the goal. And it ties so much into the story I'm writing, and as I often do when I need to recharge, I listen to a lot of fiction. I was listening to one of Razorfist's books, Death Mask, the other night, and I was also, but I've been really listening to in heavy rotation, Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I just think is a masterpiece. Obviously it is a masterpiece, but I think it's one of the most incredible works of horror. And its message is incredible, the way that it addresses things, the way it views things. It's just awesome. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And I'm trying to get myself in the Halloween mode too, because I love this time of year. As you guys know, I was born on Atlas Shrugged Day, I was born on the bicentennial year, and I was baptized on Halloween. Look it up, folks. Sunday, October 30th, I think it was. 1976. Halloween fell on a Sunday. So it is, it's something else. There's a lot of me tied up in the stuff that I'm doing. And in terms of just how funny life can be and chance can be. And I guess it's been cool. Like I wrapped up the Razorfist piece, which was a lot of fun to do. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I think it was a thumbnail. It was a thumbnail on his one of his latest Ghost Stories videos. So if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's great to see the lore that he's going for with Ghost of the Badlands. It's just some amazingly cool stuff, man. It's crazy. Yeah, I love Autumn too. I absolutely do. It's great. Yeah, that's a romance story, not a horror story. You're absolutely right. That's what it's that story is I love romance in my horror stories, and it is a romance, and it's great. And that is perfect for me. I've been reading Michael Moorcock and Cormac McCarthy. Press F for the latter. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Death Will Die. What about happened to Nosferatu 2 Tokyo Drift? That's the subtext. That's the subtext of the story. So, it's kind of a crazy thing because, we're always working, we're always jamming on a bunch of different stuff. And because my channel is largely based, if not entirely based, on my painting and my work, that's about the only thing that can make it hard for me to post videos and put me on a hiatus, is if I just can't get into that zone enough to paint on stream, because I can always paint, but I can't always paint on stream because the more I have to kind of marshal my my energy to do it, the less other things I can do. And that's kind of one of those frustrating sort of things. And then I said, basically I went, well, there's something off with me. I got to sort it. And I was like, I love my kids. All right, that's fine. No big deal. We got this. I just don't like feelings. Feelings are ridiculous. I don't like how much I love those little shits. God bless them. They're so wonderful. But this is the thing about it. It's like, you know, the Lucent for me when I was painting this piece, it's a piece that kind of, it sort of exists between the material. Oh, God, this is going to sound so ridiculous in art school, but it's true. It exists between the material and the immaterial in terms of the way that the structure of it works. And it is really like a waking dream in the sense of the first book title, but it's got a lot of different layers to it. And I can't really think of all of those while I'm doing it, but I have to be in that space, and that's what you get from this kind of stuff. What's up, Green Laser? It's great to see you. I do love it. Yeah, no Sphero 2, no Spike of Madness. That's right. It's totally true. Let's see here. Feelings are for the weak. I agree. Ew, feelings. Yeah, pack those down tight. I always look at my wife whenever I'm having these kinds of conversations with her, and I quote The Great Major Payne, and I say, I don't like it. It makes me feel funny. But it's you know, I'm looking at a lot of the stuff I'm doing right now, and you know, the some really cool people are noticing it and reaching out to me, which is great, and I appreciate that, and yeah, it's a cool time. I got no complaints. I've got you guys who are amazing. I felt very frustrated that I haven't been streaming as much lately, and I kind of just made it I kind of just made it a priority to just sort of get myself back on track in terms of my energy of just I was so drained, man, and there's just been so much cool stuff happening that I want to talk about. The first link in the description, of course, is for Battle Brick Road 2. I don't know if it's still funding. So this is the thing, I never know. Like there's like the big sort of time of something funding and then not so big or whatever, and sometimes things are open that I think are closed. But I do think you can still get Von Klaus's Terror in the Trenches, which is a beautiful book. I have it right over here. So I put the link in the description, but I don't know if it's going to the right place. Yes, The Destiny of Silver. Absolutely right. Oh, man, the sequel to No Sphere is going to be great. What is the liquid substance falling from my eyes? Is it raining? Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, let's see. Oh, yeah, redheads are such an underappreciated beauty, much like a proper autumn morning, and the redhead just flows into the vibe of this. Oh, thank you. God, jeez, Timmy, you're killing me, man. Too bad Hollyweird doesn't agree. Yeah, redheads are beautiful, and I will say that there you go, my dream girl is a ginger. One of the things that people do not understand that makes me laugh is that the hardest skin color to paint is very, very white skin. The super pale skin, to get the color right, is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. And I'm not talking about in a piece like this. I mean in a true blue portrait piece where you're trying to get the way the light is going under the skin and everything like that. And these pieces, when I do comic stuff and sequential stuff, it's just it's a different kind of challenge. I don't think that most people are made for comics. You know, yeah, we got to get Battle Brick Road to 100K, because that is the bar, and that is the bar we hit. That's it. That's how we roll. End of. But I don't think everybody's cut out for comics because of the sort of, or even pulp art, because of the interlocking kind of immediacy of the work. But I love it. I think in comics, I kind of have to, I have to pump the brake, because the stories sometimes start coming to me really, really quickly. And I just go, nope, you know, because I'm really good at the whole discipline aspect of this. I go, nope, you can deal with that story when this story is done. Don't even let yourself think about it. And now that I'm kind of free, because No Sphero is printing, there's nothing I need to be doing at the moment other than being ready to accept more comics than will fit in our house, frankly. We are in trouble. We do not have a large house, guys. But it's I can sort of start, you know, kind of daydreaming about the story a little bit, and not even daydreaming. I can really start attacking it in my head and figuring out what happens. But when it comes to how I work, that thinking process, as many of you guys know from watching the stream, happens on paper. It happens, I draw it. I don't write it out. That's the thing that's big, man. Oh my God, it's great. It's printing. It's printing right now, guys. We'll be getting it once they're done, I guess is the best way, because so the printers I use, they're fantastic. They pack these boxes up within an inch of their life. The books are heavy. Each book is a substantial bit of paper. So it's and as I said, as you guys know, they're 8.5 by 11, so they are way bigger than a comic book. It's every art book I've done has been 20 paintings. This, in a sense, is an art book plus a story with 33 paintings. That's a hell of a lot of paintings to do if you're doing more detailed work. But can't show that. Subject matter wise, I love the job. It's too fun. I'm like, what pages can I show of Nosfero? But yeah, so when you see this proof, and it's a little blown out because I had to adjust the gamma on the camera for painting, say that 6 times fast. But this is the actual paper that the book is going to be printed on, my proof paper. So they give me everything but the glossy cover. So this isn't gloss. It'll be beautifully glossed, but you've got the line, the scoring line for opening the book here, the square bind on it. So the real one is going to be chef's kiss. It's going to be beautiful. Yes, they're bande dessinée size because, like I said, I'm giving you guys a breathtaking square-bound, heavy paper stock, gloss-covered art book with a comic book story. And it's a big book physically, and it's made for you to kind of get immersed in the detail of the world. And I hope that you guys, I hope that for those of you guys who've backed this book, it's something that you come back to and want to flip through again and again and again, because that's the goal. And that's the goal with this. When I do a painting for somebody, whether it's the piece I did for Razorfist or this piece I'm doing for Michael, it's not a one-time thing. I want them, they're getting the only rights I retain to any of these pieces are for my art books, for retrospectives, where I talk about my work and I show paintings I've done and collect them in my art books. This is theirs to use forever, for anything they want to use it for. And so I want to think in those terms. I want this to be able to be a poster. I want this to be able to be a trading card. When I did the trading card for Ethan, that piece is enormous. And if he ever wanted to do something else with it, the resolution is there. You know what I mean? The resolution is there for him to do that with. And so, that's how I approach everything I do. I've got an idea right now for a Battle Brick Road piece for Eric, and I'm really excited about that. But for right now, it's all Lucent and Nosfero head sketches all the time. That's what, and I've been working on this piece not on stream, so it was I just, like I said, I'm sort of became like the Warner Brothers frog when the camera went on. I was frozen. But, thank you so much. I am really proud of the CyberFrog piece I did. I think it's great. And I don't often... I'm feeling that more and more. There'll always be stuff in books that I think I want to come back to and say, I think I could have done a little bit better on that page or something like that. You always have that. I have that with paintings, no matter what I do. But I will say that the thing that's cool with age and experience and where I'm at with my work now, I can just look at it and go, all right, that's really good. We're on to the next one. Yes, could I do that? But, do something here or do something there a little bit different? Sure. But it's not anything that anybody's going to notice but me 9 times out of 10. And so that's kind of what makes it fun and makes it great. And I wanted to show people outside of this space that we're in Comicsgate what we're capable of technically. Do you know what I mean? That we can do high-end stuff here. Now, it's expensive as hell, but we can do it, and that's never been more clear than when I cut the check for the first half of the print run. Bad Crow Comics, what's up? It is great to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Yeah, everybody's saying hello. Aviator Surge, it is great to see you, my friend. I hope you were doing well. My son's favorite name in the chat, let me just say. Loves airplanes. What is up, Cranberry Langer's channel member, my brother, Ride or Die. God bless you, man. I appreciate you so much, man. And howdy indeed. This boy from Tennessee, born in Texas, appreciates a good howdy. I'm at work, so I'm going to lurk. Sounds good, Cranberry Langers. Enjoy and listen. That's what we try to do here, guys. And so I was sitting there, and I've been kind of deep diving into Dracula, and I think that the thing about Dracula that I've gone through phases of really loving Dracula and then having other books kind of fight their way to the front, and Lovecraft is always going to be, you know, my guy in terms of what I'm drawn into and who I think is the best in terms of his descriptors and how he does horror. But there's something about the gothic romance quality of Dracula that is the most Shanth horror book or book of that genre out there. To the action, to the drama, to the sense of purpose in it. And if I could make Nosferatu and Nosferatu 2, if I could make those books have the kind of brevity but visual majesty and passion and immediacy of 1931's Dracula or Frankenstein, that would be the ultimate for me. Do you know what I mean? That would be the ultimate. Because I was watching both the Spanish version, which thank God they remastered it, and the which was also shot at the exact same time on the same sets, and the original Dracula with Bela Lugosi. And guys, those movies are incredible. I mean, we're already in the Halloween season. Let's go, man. You know what I mean? It's if you haven't watched those remastered Universal movies, make sure you get them as remastered as you get them. They're incredible. Let's see here. What do you think of the sort of Freudian interpretation of Dracula that Bram Stoker was a positive gay and that's why he portrays female vampires? I mean, nah. I don't see it. We've gone through a period of historical analysis where that seems to be apparently what they what they claim everybody was and what the reason was behind everything they do. And it's because a Freudian interpretation in a lot of ways is so easy, and they want to make homosexuality more mysterious than it really is. You know what I mean? It's like, for any of us who've been on this planet long enough, you know, our gay friends are gay. That's it, right? And we know there were creators during that time, many of whom everybody knew. It was like the worst kept secret of its day, which is pretty common. And I don't think that was the case at all. I think the case of that book was partially based on the notes that he got that he built the story around. But I think the other aspect of it is it's I'm actually surprised when I listen to that book. It's about how much men love women, and if anything, it's about a fear of you know, I guess that sort of youthful femininity and beauty being drained out of them by a pervasive evil force. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean by that. The fact that oh geez, Stephen Rockwood, what are you doing here, you crazy Canadian? Blimmin' internet major connectivity issues. Oh, is it looking bad? Is the stream okay, guys? Let me know. If the stream is bad, do let me know. It usually gives me a warning though if it's bad. But yeah, I mean, this is the thing about it, right? In terms of how I view it. We were deprived in the Francis Ford Coppola adaptation of the romance of that story. We were deprived of the ending of the story that is really touching, wherein Mina and Jonathan go on to have a child, have a son, and name them after their dear friend Quincy, who, this crazy American Texan, I love it, who is always game for an adventure, is, courting Lucy, but he doesn't succeed. But his love for her, just the same as the Doctor's, does not turn to resentment, even though severe sadness and disappointment of being rebuffed by Lucy. But when they all see what's really at stake, which is the future of a life that Lucy could have created, is being threatened and then is eventually destroyed, they realize that their friend's love of Lucy is bigger than any of them. It's a battle of good versus evil. And that's the thing that just has really struck me lately, where it's like, you guys know how you feel about, the people you're close to in your life and their significant others who they're in love with. You sort of go, whoa, what happened? Someone did what to my buddy's wife is being, is under attack? We're rolling. You know what I mean? We're gonna go get it. And those guys, you're going down, man. Don't mess with my buddy's girl. And it's got that, man. It's craziness. Oh, gotcha, Siege. Yeah, if a USA CG lady wants to marry me so I can escape this, let me know. There you go. All right, back to lurking. Interesting breakdown. Yeah, and this is the thing about it, right? There is no room in fellowship, and it really is a fellowship that gets formed with Van Helsing as almost the elder statesman. But there is a real fellowship that is formed between these gentlemen, and they know they're up against very difficult things, but only one of them doesn't make it back, but his loss is so powerful. His sacrifice is so meaningful, but he lives on as the namesake of Mina and Harker's son, and it's a great book, guys, and it's how I view things, man. It's how I that's how I feel about it, man. Can't stay for the live, but just thought I'd drop by and say hello. Thank you, Tahiki. It's great to see you, my friend. Hello, Shanth. Hello, everyone. I am glad you swung by. Thank you so much. Drop a like on your way out. It always helps, man, and it's a big thing. Yeah, absolutely. Right on, Grimsman. Right on. I'm just listening to wisdom radiating from my phone. Oh, wait, that's 5G. There you go. That's right. It's 5G. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, man. Much love. And that's the thing about it, is that when I listen to the book, there's this aspect that this was not intentional because I was not, but again, that's why I think the fallacy of intent with creation is one of the funniest things in the world. We don't always know why we're doing what we're doing. That's the muse, that's God, that's whatever you want to call it. We still have to build our skill. We still have to beat on that craft, as Eric July likes to say. But it's, it's there's something beyond that. I mean, you can train as hard as Michael Jordan, but you're not going to be Michael Jordan. So you got to cultivate it and you got to receive it, man. It's a crazy thing. But when I'm think about it, in a lot of ways, Greylock, the werewolf character, is very much the Van Helsing of Nosferatu, in the sense that he's kind of the older, wiser, but gruff male figure. Like there's these parts of the book where he's kind of like, he could just be completely, beaten down and just be like, you gotta save Laurel. Why does he want Laurel to be saved? Because he comes to realize that Laurel and Nosferatu should be together. Makes sense to him. It's crazy, man. Yeah. I would actually agree with that. Yeah. I think the audience, I'll add to it a different way. If you're a really skilled artist and writer, the audience should never be smarter than you in terms of the work, right? Like, you have to, otherwise you're ripping them off, right? Like, if they're more, in that sense of the work. But here's the crazy thing about it. The audience, what the audience creates around a work is so immense and so overwhelming, I just don't think it can be defined. It is one of the most humbling things. I do not know how, and sometimes you do got to just make stuff, but Bad Crow Comics, let me tell you this. I do not know how overwhelming it must feel for some artists who have millions and millions of fans, because and people who buy their books. I have 660, and I am so grateful, so overwhelmed, and I'm every single day. It's overwhelming, and I don't think I can ever put that into words. Tammy D, what is up? It's great to see you. What is happening, my peeps? Shanth, yes, I'm back. Thank you, channel member Tammy D. It is great to see you. And I'll say this, it's a different feeling, and it's why, as much as I appreciate the book, it's why I can't get down as much with Frankenstein, even though it's a masterpiece, as I can with Dracula, because the message of Frankenstein, in a lot of ways, outside of just being a cautionary tale, is about two characters who I don't that I can get because of the ability of the writing, but I don't aspire to be like, I don't connect with, and their struggles are ones that I can't relate to. Which is, one is looking at just life as just plain biology, and the second struggle being looking at your parentage or the perceived wrongs or things you didn't get that were done to you as a justification for malevolence. I can't rock with that. That's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? And I'll never be able to do that. So I am contemplating a Frankenstein's monster-esque character for Nosferatu 2. Death Will Die, if that title holds. And the thing about it is that it's something that I can't believe it didn't occur to me before, but Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, like, stories like the Golem and things like that, they're based on stuff that already existed, but it had never dawned on me. It had never dawned on me to take the idea of this dead flesh brought back to life with this particular idea that I've wanted to do for how that happens. It ties into the Cthulhu mythos. But to basically just go, no, this is not going to have any tie in the real sense to Mary Shelley in that sense. Because the Frankenstein or monster I can identify with, not the man, again, still I struggle with the man of Frankenstein. But the monster is, of course, Boris Karloff's mute, confused, innocent, which is very different than Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, who basically becomes a serial killer by the end of the story. And so, when I'm working on this kind of stuff, I got to find how I approach it, and the first thing I always have to remind myself of is to not throw out things just to throw them out, or not make things different just to make them different, but also to realize that you can make things more powerful sometimes by and more relevant to the time and what your audience might need and what might be life affirming to create. Sometimes you can make those kinds of changes and it just frees you up narratively. And so that was the idea for me with Nosferatu, and that's going to continue with all the work that I do. Yeah, the homunculus. Exactly right. Yep. Absolutely right. Yep. The Golem of Flesh. I was watching the remastered Golem movie, and it's an amazing work of fiction, and yeah, you're right, Timmy. 100%. Yeah. Everybody's excited to see Tammy in the house. There you go. That's how it is here, guys. I've missed you guys like crazy, man. Missed you guys like crazy. It's great to see you guys, Let's see here. I got my pumpkin coffee with oat milk, no sugar. Happy fall. Let me tell you something. When the pumpkin spice begins to flow, my missus is in a great mood. Pumpkin spice donuts from Dunkin' Donuts. It's got to happen. She loves the pumpkin. In New England, we're obsessed with the pumpkin. That is the way it is. We've got pumpkin issues. Let's just call it what it is. But that's the stuff. Oh, God bless you, Tammy D. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's I told my wife I can't totally, understand it all sometimes, but thank God for you guys. It's wonderful. That's right. Oh my God, yeah. Engage snorting pumpkin spice through cinnamon stick. That's right. Yeah, sometimes you gotta do it. Sometimes that you gotta rock. You gotta rock that way with the pumpkin spice. But yeah, I like this time of year. I like when it's cold. The kind of frustrating thing has been we have been having much more warm Octobers. Actually, we've had pretty warm Octobers for a while, but sometimes I feel like that true fall spirit doesn't hit us until just after Halloween sometimes up here in terms of the weather. But I think we're going to be, it just depends on the year up here. I love when we have a nice New England long fall. That's my favorite time of year is the fall. I like it more than spring. I like the crispness in the air. I kind of like the cold. I got to be honest with you. If I have to choose between being cold or hot, I will sadly always choose being cold. I cannot stand the heat sometimes. I'm just like, ah. And so I get out of the kitchen, folks. That's what I do. So yeah, make sure you hit the like. We got 19 people here. Holy cow. And 16 likes. God bless you. Sub CBO. Cranberry Langers in the house. What is pumpkin spice? A miserable pile of secrets. There you go. Ditto. Hey all. Shanth, you could call yourself pumpkin. You're absolutely right. I could. Let's see here. Yeah, Tammy D's like, no to pumpkin spice. That's right. Fight the good fight. Nosfero 2. Pumpkin spice homunculus. You're absolutely right. Let's see here. Yeah, same here in New Mexico. It's still getting 80-degree weather on a daily basis. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, when you think of Frankenstein's monster, it's basically a modern telling of the golem, where in the case, it's a golem if compiled flesh rather than clay. Hold on one quick second here. Let me see if I can mute myself here. I don't think I can, because I don't know how anything works around here. Hey kids, I'm streaming, just so you know, alright? And could you guys make sure the printer's off for me? Love you guys. Welcome home. Yeah, Wrightson for the win is absolutely right. No doubt. 89 right now, and you love it. I understand, Tammy D. That's why you moved to Florida. I own Uggs, currently not wearing, still in flip-flops, and I do not own Lulu... I don't know what that is. Sorry. That's really sad that I don't know what that is. So Timmy Mellis says, when you think of it, Frankenstein's monster is basically a modern telling of the golem, where in this case, it's a golem if compiled of flesh rather than clay. And see, you're getting to it. You're getting to those possibilities, man. You're getting to those possibilities. You're absolutely right. And that whole idea is, to me, endlessly fascinating. It's endlessly fascinating to me to think of, how do I word this? Of starting the human experience in a fully developed, fully formed body in terms of your strength and in terms of your power. And then what you would do, it's a little bit like the comic book character in a strange sense of Shazam, who's still a kid, but he's got this unbelievable power of Superman for all intents and purposes. And that stuff kind of appeals to me. And so when I looked at, the great Boris Karloff's portrayal and Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein is so beautifully rendered. That book, I think of that book sometimes when I try not to that much, but I think of that book when I'm working on Nosfero and working on my work and realizing that a work like that is just going to just last. I recently got Richard Corbin's Den, and it's the same way. It's incredible stuff, It's the first brand of leggings. There you go. Lululemons. Got it. I'm learning. Did you see the Wrightson pencil piece that Peter Gilmore did? And I snagged at an auction. It's awesome. I did not, but shout out to Peter Gilmore. Amazing art and great stuff. Yeah, I mean, I love Bernie Wrightson stuff. It's crazy. Lemons are incredibly tight. Women's yoga pants tight. I had my... that's right. I've had my begone thought moment because of Lululemons. There you go. Today's monster is called... Got me, Timmy. No, Timmy, you bad man. That's right. There you go. But it's. I love that. I love this season. I love monsters. I love creatures. I love adventure. But it really is. I have to say, it really is Dracula. That is the gothic horror romance story that is most true to what I want to do with Nosfero. That's the tone. Frankenstein, imagine the monster or the golem, depending on, as a gothic romance in the vein of Dracula, and then cross that with a little bit of Herman Melville, and that's where I'd go. Like, that's what interests me right now with it. So we'll see. You know, that we'll see where it goes. With all of these stories, I try to leave a little open for the process, because there's things that happened in Nosfero that weren't planned and made the story better. And it's the same thing with this painting. You know, it's there's things that I want to make sure I know about it, but then there's things I have to just kind of leave open. And that's the fun of doing these paintings, where you guys can actually see, you know, what I'm doing live and see how they come together. That's why, you know, streaming like this on Ecamm for me allows me to, you know, get you guys right up on the paper and get the resolution to, if you're watching it on a bigger screen later, or you know, you come back to these streams and check them out, you can just tell, I mean, the quality difference when I'm doing StreamYard stuff versus what I can control. I mean, I basically have a built-in studio on my laptop that allows me to really get into the finer points of color correcting the camera. I can do digital zooms really easily here, which is great. So if I want to just zoom in and show you guys the detail, I've got that capacity. I can even move the camera around to some extent so I can show you guys what I'm up to. And I love that. I love that feature and that functionality of it. I am painting... Tammy D, you got me. Oh my god, you guys cracked me up. I am painting a piece for the Lucent 2 Painted Death, based on my wife's favorite Comicsgate book as it stands, which is the Lucent by Michael Bancroft. She was telling me she started following Mike on Instagram, and she's just like, I really love his work. I love his art. And I go, I do too. You know, and of course, if she hadn't liked his work, you know, we would have had to split up, which is a shame. But, you know, that's what happens. Yeah, Stephen Rockwood, this is for you and Tammy. That's what this is for. That's my core audience. You guys know that. You guys know that. You gotta take care of your channel members, man. That's how it is. That is how it is. There we go. And yeah, for me, there's such a fun energy for this piece. Like, I'm gonna flip it over because there's something I've been wanting to do and remind myself to do on this side of the piece, that I think about my paintings. I think about them pretty much all the time. They're running in the background. I'm thinking about the visuals and what I want to do and where they can go, and what the you know, what color flourishes need to be where. Some of it is sort of in the moment, but then others of it is I gotta get hooked on just basic speaking. Some of the stuff that I do is a response to what starts to happen in the painting. And so there was this moment of this color that I love, that I don't know if it stays till the end of the piece or not, but it's something that I just knew I wanted to have. And I just wanted to have this little color moment, and I wanted to make sure I put it down right now while I'm thinking of it, because I think about it all the time, but if I'm not ready to make it happen, I don't want to wreck what I'm trying to do. So I'll show you what I mean. And again, unfortunately, the gamma has been adjusted on this, so I don't know if it'll come out half as good as I want you to see it, but there we go. That's the note right there. It's a sort of a minty blue-green, and it's warmer rather than cooler. And it's because we're seeing this very light fabric right here in a bright light that I get a lot of freedom with what I can do with the color. It's whatever serves the painting. And I think I said this to Michael when we talked about this, is that, you know, I want everything I do, I want it to be, to the extent that it's possible, I want it to be a masterpiece. I want it to be something that is a record of a technical amount of mastery that this person got to, at this particular time, at this particular age, in this particular place. And I want it to be something that is inspiring for people who are into the story and who like it, and that's the goal. Colgate Blue. That's totally what it is. Oh my lord. Yeah. There you go. Look at all this. You guys are having fun. For the guys. Just pointing them out for the guys. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Colgate Blue, you know it, Eric Weathers. God bless you. It's great to see you. Yeah, guys, go back Battle Brick Road 2. It is the first link in the description. Back my brother's book here. Yeah, Shanth, are you submitting this for the Lucent Art Contest? If so, I will not be joining. No, it's not. This is a commission. No, this isn't for the contest. But you should be doing something for that contest, brother. You absolutely should. I endorse your efforts, Tammy. There you go. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's that's the great thing about these commissions is that, you know, I get to, the Razor Fist piece has gone over well. I know Razor Fist was really excited about it. Shout out to him. And I got a chance. That's my first Western illustration. So I've done Western paintings before, but that's my first Western illustration. And this, I don't know what I would describe this as. This is a very, this subject matter is very me. You know, I really connect with Mike's work and his we come at things completely differently, but completely compatibly. It's a very wild, it's a wild thing. It's tough to describe. Do you know what I mean? It's a tough thing to describe, and we kind of don't even have to talk when we're doing this sort of stuff. It's kind of like, do you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I know what you mean, but what about this? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I need. And that's kind of the thing for me, you know. So I look at something like this, and it's kind of a setup here. This is sort of a setup for what I want to do. So you see these stairs that are coming up, and when I'm working on these, that's not where they stop, but that's where I kind of need them to be, so that I can then, you know, get sort of, you know, carried away by where things are going to go. Because in a lot of ways, this piece, and what I like about this piece, is getting that kind of dreamlike quality and that idea of things just, you know, falling apart or, you know, breaking away. And so, yeah, there are going to be some of these pieces of stone and these stairs that are just going to be kind of breaking off and, you know, just flying to create this kind of really kinetic energy. A lot of ways, that was a tricky part of the piece I did for Razor Fist, because it had that dreamlike quality, but it's a very physical reality. It felt like I was doing a poster for High Plains Drifter or Pale Rider, which is great. I love that kind of stuff. This is, to me, much more like doing a Mucha piece, you know, something inspired by the Slav epic or any of the incredible pieces that Alphonse Mucha did. Mucha's a huge inspiration for me. I mean, he's in everything I do. But there's something about the Lucent that it's sort of like, what a lot of people don't get about Art Nouveau is that Art Nouveau isn't soft. Art Nouveau is best understood via a cold, you know, Slavic winter. And I think it's the beauty that kind of beams out in the spring from having experienced such cold. That's the thing that is brilliant about it. There you go. I like turtles. You gotta like turtles. Yeah, we were watching a turtle rescue the other day. When does Nosferatu come out again? I'm concussed. Can't remember. Oh no, Tammy D, feel better. It is as soon as we get the books. I mean, the books are being printed, and then we start packing and shipping. We look at everything. We get the list together. But yeah, it's. I'm gonna let you guys all know here. I'm sure. Oh my gosh, how can I not stream that? But when I get the books, that's it. We're just waiting on them, and then it's party time. You know, so they let us know. I don't know what their how long it's going to take them, because it's a decent sized order for them, and then they got to pack them and get them ready to ship. And like I said, they do a great job. This place, they do a great job. They do just a great job packing this stuff. So it's, I'm sure it takes a little bit of time on their part to make all that stuff happen. But yeah, soon, very soon. Yeah, it's being printed right now. It is incredibly exciting. It is incredibly exciting. It's my first painted comic book. My first fully painted comic book. It's, I think, the first fully painted comic book in CG. And that's a wild... that's so wild to me. Because it's my first, painted book too. So that's kind of a wild aspect of this. Do you know what I mean? It's been so great. Holy Hand Grenades, hail Shanth and chat. It is great to see you, Holy Hand Grenades. How are you doing, my friend? So we cannot wait. It's going to be so great. I'm so excited for you guys to get it. I mean, it's going to be so great for me to ship it to you guys. It's wonderful. Shanth, it would be fun if you streamed as you're packing. Oh yeah, packing and going through the list. Then we can see your our actual packages. And maybe you can throw in a special rapid poop or something in there. I'll try not to throw that in there, but I probably will stream at some point during packing. Yeah, you gotta love it. Indeed. Yeah. Your name writes itself. There you go. Yeah, it does. But yeah, man, I've been watching... I've been making this work, and I've been painting for so long and recharging as I do a lot of this stuff. And I just think that to me, it's a tremendous relief to be done with the painting of, that book, because, there's reference I have on my computer. There's stuff I have around me that I can use for reference. And it starts to you get buried in your reference. You get buried in all the stuff that you have going on. And then you get to this point to where you kind of get to clear deck and sort of say, all right, let's get all this stuff squared away. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this folder of reference here. I don't need, this figure right here that I've been using to kind of figure out like how the werewolf's going to look in this perspective. So it's a pretty cool thing to get to this point. And so my brain just sort of frees up for the other stuff. Like I was telling Razorfist, I just need, he's like, how's the piece coming? Where are we at? And I said, this was, I guess a week or so ago. And I said, it's more or less done, but I need another pass. And then when I sent him the final, and this is something I do sometimes, when I sent him the final image to say it's done, and so he could send me the other half, which is how I typically do things, of the cash. Between that and when I sent him the final, I had to change one figure. I just wanted to just be a little bit better, and that's how it is. We just keep plussing this stuff, guys. We just keep trying to make it as good as possible, and there's paintings now that I've sold that, I'm sure the Razor Fist piece is going to sell once I put that one up. But yeah, there's pieces I've sold that are just, I'm so proud of those, and I'm glad that they're hanging in somebody's home and that people are enjoying them and they're part of people's art collection. I think the Razor Fist piece is going to be a big one for people. People are going to want to buy that because I don't know how much original artwork is going to be made and officially used for Ghost of the Badlands. And as you see that, you see a lot less original artwork. I mean, the people who backed Nosfera the Cryptwalker at the head sketch tier, I don't know when I do the second chance for that book, and I'm probably going to have the art only edition and all that stuff are going to be a part of that. When I do the second chance for that, I don't know if I'm going to be doing head sketches, because that's a lot of painting. I loved doing them on that first campaign, and although every campaign I go, I can't do this anymore, but I that's a lot to do. I doubt I'll do it for the second chance campaign, but it's just, I mean, every painting, everything I do, I want it to be something that people treasure. I want everybody who ordered a head sketch, when they get those head sketches, oh, I've got a cool one I'm going to be doing for you guys soon. If you guys want to hear about it, let me know. But I got a list of things to do by one of the people who backed the head sketch tier, and one of them I just instantly was like, that's something I've got to do. So cool. It's so cool, the stuff that comes up. I mean, I'm excited about the creature from the Black Lagoon one. I'm excited about the Bride of Frankenstein piece that I'm doing for my man Lloyd, and of course the Shadow for Aldous. All of these really great folks that I'm going to be doing work for. Oh, I'm loving how that's coming together, guys. Do you see how that's starting to break? See how it starts to give it a completely different feel than just the the, you know, oh, there's stairs going up, but I want it to be, you know, these stairs that are just kind of breaking up and disintegrating and almost operating like piano keys in a Mary Blair, you know, animated or storyboarded short from you know, Three Caballeros or Saludos Amigos. I forget which one it is, where they have the piano keys kind of dance and move around. And that kind of stuff. It's beautiful to me. There's something so evocative of it. John, did I get here just in time for the wrap-up? No, I've got a little bit more time, John. Don't you worry. I'll be painting for a little bit longer. And it's great to see you, John. It's great to see you. The Second Chance campaign should have butt sketches. Yeah, that'd be this. Whoop, whoop. That's it. That's all I've got now. But yeah, it's crazy. Three Caballeros. That's what it was. Yeah, that is such a breathtaking film. I'm a massive Mary Blair fan. Mary Blair is probably one of the finest, painters in terms of color that Walt Disney ever, and I mean the man Walt Disney, ever produced. He really, no one can ever challenge, I mean they can, but they're idiots, Walt Disney's supremacy for finding talent. He really knew how to find talent, and he knew how to grow talent. Some of these folks were not as good as they were before Disney, in some cases after. But we owe Walt Disney so much for what he contributed to our culture. He raised the bar. He raised the game. And the people that he hired raised the game. Whether it's Mark Davis, Mary Blair, who else have we got? Of course, Harper Goff is a genius. There's so many, Tyrus Wong, all of these great folks that he found, hired, and nurtured that have shaped the landscape of pop culture. It's pretty cool. And I think that's sort of what is an aspect of what I kind of call upon, and what I was sort of referencing with the post on Twitter and that piece of artwork, which is we don't get to say, you know, however, you know, uninteresting or boring certain things going on in culture are right now, at least we have so much great stuff we can go back to, and that's big. Eric Huffles, how are you doing, my friend? How are you? It's great to see you. Everybody, look. Oh my goodness, guys are killing me. You will definitely get your fill of that if that's what you're into when you back Nosferatu. Don't ever get confused. Yeah. Did my ears break? I can't hear anything. Sorry. I didn't mean to cough directly into the mic, but it does happen. It does happen. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I've been working on looking at surrounding myself with the best stuff, because the iconic stuff, the people who made some of the greatest work in our culture, they were exceptional talents, but they had the same amount of hours in the day. They worked incredibly hard to make themselves better at their craft, and we have to kind of hold ourselves to those high standards if we want to really move things and make things better. You know, I mean, this is yet another time for us to shine and show what we're capable of, because right now the entertainment industry, or I should say establishment is probably a better way of saying it, is at a standstill. And, you know, there are a lot of skilled artists and craftspeople who are part of that, who have a real opportunity to step out and show what they're capable of, and to connect with people who have, you know, stepped out and are making things happen. You see that with Eric July, all the incredible talent that he's sort of marshaling for the Rippaverse. And I just keep thinking, rather than people feeling like this is something that's a threat to them, they should try to, you know, make friends and support people, and not in a cheap way, because that's not going to work here. You know, it doesn't work with actual individuals you're trying to have relationships with, if you're here to try to kind of come in and schmooze and see if what you can get out of it. Because at the end of all this work we're doing, at the end of everything we do, it's just a bunch of hard work. That's all it is. It's talking to printers, it's packing, it's shipping, it's a lot of the organizational stuff, and it's streaming, and it's building your YouTube channel. But if you're willing to put the work in, and you've got something of quality, you can make it happen here. That's what this place is about. That's what the Iron Age is about for me, and that's what Comicsgate's about. Okay, I cranked up the volume. You better not play a clip out of nowhere and blast me out, says Eric Huffles. I will do my best. I will do my best. That's how it is. Yeah, Eric July's Comic Empire. Yeah, the Rippaverse.com. Thanks for dropping that link. It's crazy. Was that Shanth's nickname in school, a bootyful mind? It might have been. It might have been. You never know. It very well could have been. That might be what it was, actually. I think what was my nickname? I had a few nicknames, definitely. I definitely did. There we go. I'm loving how that's looking. Yeah, that was what was one of the things that was driving me crazy about this little section of the painting. Is that it was a setup for what I'm doing now, and in order to do what I'm doing now and to put that setup there, it's not very aesthetically pleasing to me. It felt so rigid. It looked like a spreadsheet, in paint, and it was driving me nuts. And so I've been really looking forward to attacking this section of the painting. Like I said, it's just, there's a lot of, there you go. You guys see what I mean? That's the stuff that makes it fun for me, to get all of this stuff together. And I gotta say, I'm so proud of that piece I did for Razor Fist. I think it's one of everything I do, I feel like just keeps improving by leaps and bounds because of the people, the space, the freedom that I have in this space, and the responsibility. Dude, that was one of the nicknames, man. Oh, you're killing me, dude. Oh, you kill me. Holy Lord. That's the crazy thing about people who've had you had you in their lives for so long. They know the stories. They know the stories. It's too funny. But yeah, I want everything I do to be kind of like a shot across the bow at this kind of boring, tedious, postmodernist, doldrums that we're sort of stuck in. It's very late 70s, and I want to kind of show people what's possible in our space. And I think that's why everything we do. I remember, I don't know what stream Ethan was on, but someone said, "Hey, what's up, Citizen Ronan? It's great to see you. Hail to you, brother." I don't know what stream he was on, King Cryptid by the great Peter Cimetti. I'm going to be on his show, I think, the 24th, Sunday. He's going to be talking to me. Looking forward to that. Always great to see him do his work. He's a good dude. But this is the crazy thing, right? It's Ethan was on some show and he said he doesn't think the problem is more comic books as much as it is the industry needs better comic books. Because we were, as the art form was cranking out a lot of junk. The issue is quality. The issue is stuff that's going to get people to pick it up and read it. And that is a massive hurdle to make things. That's why I think pulp is such a great inspiration. To make things that people are going to get behind, but then they're going to want to crack open and read, look at, be inspired by. Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein did that for me. There's so many great, works out there that have done that. But that's the same problem that artists have been facing for forever, which is that kind of thing. Making sure that you're creating stuff that engages with the reader, makes people excited. And so that's the goal. And so when someone hires me to do a piece like this, or Razor Fist hires me, I mean, that was the thing. You want to talk about some... Hey, Lloyd, I was just talking about you a few minutes ago. Nice stream today. Art is quite beautiful. Thank you so much, Lloyd. It is a pleasure to see you, my brother, and I hope you are doing well. God bless you. I'm glad Razor Fist is doing more interviews recently. He was on Sebastian Gorka recently. Very cool. Yeah, he was talking to Pete Cimetti. It was great. Razor Fist was on Pete Cimeti's show for almost 2 hours. If you didn't hear it, you should. Yes, I was watching it as it was going on while you're painting. It's great. It was a great show. Pete's doing some great work over there. And but what do you call it? But I was thinking about how, when I did that piece and I was putting together Razor Fist, I said, what resolution do you need this scanned in? And he goes, well, the finish is going to be poster sized. And if you want to think about, something that makes you feel a little chill of, oh, Lord, think about your painting being blown up to, at least probably twice its size. Because I did it at 12 by 18, and if he's going full poster size, it's going to be something. It's going to be big. So I went back and so I was like, all right, I'll scan it at 600 DPI. But I went back and looked at that painting. I was like, you start noticing things. Like I scanned it in and zoomed in on it really, really large, and I was like, alrighty, let's make sure we get that a little tighter there. So yeah, you never know what your stuff is going to get used for down the road, you know, when you're doing stuff like that. I'm just glad that I'm glad that Razorfist is supporting pulp artists and pulp artwork, and I try to do the same here. That's the goal anyway. Here we are. Oh, this is going to be fun. It's hard not to get into the Bob Ross voice when you're working, I have to be honest with you. It's like a natural state for a painter. You know, that's why I don't know how long I've been doing art streams. I don't even want to look back. I know it's been a while. I mean, I remember when I learned how to do art streams and all the various technology things, but it's been a long time. You could probably track, at some point you're going to be able to track my growth or lack thereof as an artist. I mean, it's possible, you know. That's the crazy thing. Let me see if I can adjust this there. And now I'm going to mess with the color a little bit because I want to show you guys. I don't think that's as true to the color as it could be. So let me see if I can give you, I don't know if that's what I want. Let me see here. Let's do saturation a little bit more. Maybe. Just want to test this. And I'm going to adjust the gamma. It's going to make things darker, but I think it's going to give you, yeah, a little closer to what we're after right there. So if I adjust the gamma, you can kind of see. There you go. You can see the color right there. Shanth, what camera are you using for your overhead? I'm using a Razer Kaio for the overhead. And I'm using the same camera for straight on. It's an easy camera. It's not as good as if I were using, you know, some big 4K, you know, when I was pre-recording this stuff. But for streaming, it seems like my system can handle that pretty well. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, but yeah. It's, yeah, 100%. 100% Lloyd. I cannot wait for you to see it. I was just showing on stream before. This is the second proof. And boy, now that I've adjusted the colors, the gamma levels, you can actually see what the book looks like. But yeah, this is the approved proof, although the cover will be gloss. So this is what we're looking at, guys. This is the book. This is what it's going to be. This is the back cover right here. Again, it's going to be gloss though. And what's up, Jeremy? I was just looking at your channel the other night. I'm so proud of you, man, and everything you're doing. I'm so proud, dude. We have got to get together at some point. Maybe when I bring the first copy of this book, I'm going to bring to H.P. Lovecraft's grave. And so maybe we can meet up there. That would be fun to do. So here is, let it focus a little bit, but here is a look at some of the interiors right there. So yeah, there you go. That is what this is about, guys. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool for you guys to see it. That's what it's about. Making sure that this book reproduces as well as you guys deserve. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. That's what we got into this game for. Oh, thank you guys so much. Yeah, the printer has been so great, Lloyd. I'm really, really happy. Channel member Lloyd Burton. God bless you. And God bless you, Jeremy, again. You're killing me, dude. Proud of you as well, man. The book looks beautiful. Can't wait to read it. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate... Oh, Jeremy, I've told my wife about the show From, because she's been looking at a lot more kind of like scary drama, like mystery, Twilight Zone, like what the hell's happening. And I told her that you were talking about this show called From that you had told me that I needed to check out. And so I do think we're going to put that on deck. You know what I mean? For one of our things we start watching. Might be great to start watching it during Halloween, during this season. But yeah, thanks for letting me know about that and letting, God, so many people know about it out on the internet. Dude, yeah, it's going to be so great. Thank you. It's going to have words. Well, there's going to be a wordless edition coming out too. Thank you so much, Cranberry Langers. I wish I wasn't so broke all the time. Another comic I've missed out. There will be a second chance campaign once we get this thing, the first chance, shipped out. And part of that's going to be a wordless edition of the book. So just the paintings. So yeah, I cannot wait. Nice. Yeah. It's a perfect show for Halloween. Yes. Yeah. I want to, I've been looking for a show like that, and I trust your taste. You know, I trust your taste. You've got really good taste. What's up, Simply Green? How are you doing? Good morning to you, my friend. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, I love I love this particular kind of creepy, scary show, and I think that show seems like it's got that vibe. And again, you start developing, one of the things in this space, for sure, is that you start developing a sense of who's got good taste and whose taste is compatible with the stuff that you're into. So for me, Jeremy, I would take his recommendation on stuff any day of the week. He's got great taste, and absolutely, he goes way back with George R.R. Martin stuff, and his we have a similar kind of love of horror and monsters and that kind of stuff. I mean, Aldous is like that too. There's a lot of people in this space who just have really great great angle on the stuff that they love. There we go. Oh, yeah, this is gonna be fun. I want to maybe it's the old video game childhood in me, but I just want to run up these stairs as they fall apart underneath. It's fun, man. That's the stuff we love. That's the best stuff. It's just all the fun that you can have in comics, and all of the beauty and all of the stuff that is there to have. The adventure and beauty has definitely been something that it was a big part of the Iron Age kind of inspirational pieces that I've been doing at the end of the evening to kind of cool down on traditional media. That's a big part of what I want to do. I want to remind people that there are all these beautiful art forms waiting to be rediscovered or passed on, because there's a lot of people still doing them. And support them, check them out. Painted comics are something, and even comics just done in traditional media aren't something you're seeing a lot of these days, less and less anyway. And you guys supporting it and making it happen means it can get passed down and more people can be exposed to it, and that's what it's about. Oh, and I finally saw The Last Voyage of the Demeter. You were right, it sucked. Laugh out loud. Yes. So I have to tell you this. There's a bunch of things in that I could talk about that for hours. If you ever want to do a show talking about that, dude, I am there. Okay. Here's the thing that drove me the most crazy about that thing on every level. That they broke certain rules of Dracula. That if you break those rules, then the whole sea voyage isn't even, a thing. But the biggest crime that story did is they made the story about a character whose concerns and issues about the world, we'll just put it that way, were transported from our modern world. And they take you out of the movie, the character and that viewpoint, because you're talking about a time period where if you were of a certain income, infant mortality rates were through the roof. Like, there were such bigger problems than social stuff. There were things like food shortages, plagues, virology wasn't a thing yet. Things like that. And it just cracked me up. I'm going, God almighty, it was like seeing a movie from the, that takes place in Viking times, and the Viking was kind of like, can I get soy milk with that? And you're like, wait, what the hell are you talking about? Or, oh man, my cholesterol's up. It was that kind of reality-breaking idiocy. Yeah, it was infuriating. You're right. By the way, it also had nothing to do with Dracula. I have not checked out Fringe yet, but I've heard good things. I've heard very good things. Yeah, don't current day us. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, guys, that was, you guys know what it's about. I had that video, man. I had to animate it. Yes, Judix by Michael Odin, and that was great to be on there. And Aaron Neff, it was great to be on Phil's stream, doing the pulp stream with that. Guys, do check that book out. Very, very cool. Very great story. Yeah, don't current day us. I've not heard a good review for the movie yet. Too bad. It looks like it would be great. Here's the thing. I've heard some lukewarm reviews of it that I think are dishonest. And the thing that really has been driving me crazy, and I actually have a thumbnail for a video I want to do about it, but that's going to require me to really, I don't want to just be general. There's a lot of general things I could talk about that are horrendous about it, but I want to spend some time on it because there are a lot of reviewers who are saying things, and I don't know what it's like to, like I said, I don't know what it's like to be in that space. I'm not a commentator per se. I do some commentary stuff, but Because I imagine it's very hard. Like, Razor Fist is really good at it. I think Jeremy is really great at it. I think there's a lot of folks who are spot on with it. Hell, even Ethan. I think Ethan's really good at it. But they keep saying, well, I mean, obviously, and this is from the book. This is true to the book. I'm like, there's nothing true to the book in that story. Like, almost nothing. It would have almost been better if it was a more modern-day story and they were referencing that story but not attempting to do it in that time period. There's a million things they could have done that would have been better. They made every wrong choice. It's painful. Why does Paulus Arts have a wrench? Whoa, what are you talking about? Jim Cox, that is not the question at all. The real question is, why doesn't Jim Cox have a wrench? Jim Cox, do you have an answer for that? You know? I don't know why you didn't have a wrench. But we fixed that. Okay? We've had to fix that. Yes, I heard One Piece is good, actually. Yeah, you can do a lot with that fantasy world. What, they tried to current day retcon the movie? Yes, they did. And it's really strange. See, look, you can do... this is the thing, you can do anything now, Jim Cox. You have the power. You have the well-deserved power, might I add. Jim Cox always has my back, man. Jim Cox goes way back, just like me. I remember seeing your name. Again, I keep talking about the stream. It is my favorite Comicsgate stream of all time, and I actually want to EFAP it sometime. I would love to EFAP this stream with John Malin. If I've got to hit him up about that. I want to EFAP the Into the Pie Baron stream, as I call it. I actually did a cut of it where it's just that section, and which goes on for a long time. I would love to EFAP that with him because I just think it would be hilarious. And of course, man, if I could get Cecil and Ethan in there, that would be hilarious. Might be a little too meta at that point, though. I don't know if I'm postmodern enough for that. But yeah, Dracula, reading the book Dracula or listening to the audiobook in my case, it's painful when people say, well, Dracula's been done to death. I don't think Dracula has barely ever been done as a story. A vampire story with a guy named Dracula has been done a bunch of times, but everybody is so convinced that it's been done before, they're always trying to put a new spin on it, and unfortunately, so much of what's great about the story is the gothic romance. And I don't mind when people do their own versions of it. I mean, I love the Hammer horror version. I love the 1931 version. I love Nosferatu, which is its own version of it. But, the original Dracula is awesome. I want to see more of it. Yeah. Let me see here. Hang on. God, my glasses are falling off. Here. I'm thinking more of the soft anachronism than hard. Magic, cell phones, etc. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Let's see here. Hail to everybody, says Cranberry Langers. He's on top of it. I just think that you, how do I put this? We've, no pun intended, we've defanged our monsters in modern day stories, and we've also defanged good a lot of times. And when you hear like Van Helsing, crumbling up, the host and putting it in the in the walls of Lucy's crypt so that she can't pass. Because the body of Christ is around, the doorway, and then he strategically removes it to let her get back in, and how he holds her at bay with the cross. It doesn't make it, it makes it, to me, it's so terrifying, and you don't see that a lot. You don't see the terror of limits, and you don't see the terror of good and evil being, evil being evil and good being good. Because good is a very hard... Evil is an easy thing to kind of manifest in a story in a lot of ways. You can do that a lot through action. But good is tricky. Good, in some ways, is harder to do. I think that's why good characters are hard for average writers to write. Because they don't understand that there's so much conflict in being good. There's so much difficulty. I think that one of the best written characters in so many ways is in terms of best depicted characters was what George Lucas did with Luke Skywalker. I know people love to point out Darth Vader, but I don't think people realize what a great feat it was to create a true hero. And of course, it's why tearing it down in a sense is so appalling. but you can't tear down the greatness that was that work and what was done with it. You just can't, and that's what I love about it. That's what makes it great. Timmy Mello says, horror doesn't have as much of an impact as it used to have. Most of it stems from confronting evil and seeing evil for what it is. Now evil has become subjective. You're absolutely right. Subjective, and the horror of evil diluted. Well, that was an interesting aspect of when I was listening to the audio commentary for Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, which was very telling. He said, the thing about Dracula is almost like this Christ figure. And I went, people say that a lot and expect that to just kind of go past. I'm like, did he sacrifice himself for mankind, or did he sacrifice mankind for himself? Because that's the other direction if you're looking for who Dracula is kind of like. Not to mention that the cross repels him, so there's that. But there was a little bit more to Jesus than death and resurrection. There's a lot of characters throughout world religions and mythology for whom that's the case. And I just think it's hilarious that people say that. He is not a sympathetic character. He preys on innocent people and creates people, or creatures, I should say, that prey on innocent people. Period. Full stop. Let him be the villain. Let him be the villain. He is much more the devil, because of his vanity, because of the way he sees other people, the way he uses other people. He's a sociopath. That's a very weird thing, and that you're right. That is the subjective. Again, I think of the other brilliant bit of George Lucas' Star Wars. Good is a point of view, Anakin. Yeah, that's it. That's where it starts, with subjectivity. It's unreal. It's unreal how people do that. Yep, that's why they can't write Superman. They can't write a true Batman. They don't have to do an anti-hero Batman because they don't have the skill to write him proper. Yeah, and I always say this too. The anti-hero is the villain. I've not heard a very compelling argument for, like, counterculture is still the culture. You can't really be counterculture because culture is still driving every decision you make if you're being driven by a need to oppose it. And if you're outside of culture, how do you do that? You're culture. That's it. That's always been a facet of culture. So it's fascinating to me. Let me see here. One of the kind of odd things about heroes is that they can be both selfish and unselfish. And at the same time, Luke's good example because he's a hero, but he was doing it for his father. Yeah, so many. Yeah, because he's undead. Yes, that's basically it. Yeah, it's basically what they've got. So by that rationale, right, it's every zombie in Night of the Living Dead, right? But they eat people. That's their thing. Like, I could think about this so much, like how people go, how people, you could use the most general thing in the world as a starting point and say, well, we're all people. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. But that's not what an individual is. Like, it's just not. It's like, you see people talk about, well, do you know Jeffrey Dahmer was gay? And I'm like, he ate people? That's the one that stands out to me. Eating the people. That's kind of don't care at that point. At that point, yeah. I mean, his tastes were very diverse, but does that mean he liked those people? He was still eating. No, nah, son. Make it stop. And it's like, people miss this stuff. Yeah. There you go. Yep. And he his view of mankind would not bow. Yeah, he's Christ figure in the sense that you think. Yeah. And what's the opposite? The anti-Christ. Yeah, you got it. It ain't rocket science. And you destroy the story when you do that. You destroy the story when you do that. You want to be writing something else. Write something else. But don't say you're being true to the source material if you don't care about it. It's true. Yeah. Yeah. The internet is too obscure, yes, and called good evil. Yeah, and it's tiresome. That Dracula Untold origin movie was from a decade ago. Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. Weird. Yeah, that's not a tale the Jedi would tell you. Exactly right. Yes. They do that with truth as well. They certainly do. They do it with fact, right? I've sacrificed himself for all others, and one sacrificed others for himself. Yeah, Tell me there isn't a more specific way to word that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is it. That's what, like, it is the antithesis. But then if you don't believe there's a thesis, or you don't believe there's any facts, or there's any theories, then you're forced to hypothesize things that have already been tried and failed. C.S. Lewis talked about that brilliantly. That many of the new agey stuff that people do, even in his time, were actually, if you did a little bit of history, would see they've already been tried and been shown to have failed by smarter people. So it's just do your homework. You know, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it has never been truer. Yeah. And that's, by the way, I was sitting around, input compels output. Yes, indeed. Frankenstein is pretty much a Dracula character. You got it. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Voltaire, absolutely true. Gross on. Yeah, exactly. It's right. Like, not, yeah. I know you were kidding. I got the joke. It was a good joke. It's like, yeah. Yeah. That's the thing that is so hilarious. Go, how do I word this? When it comes to other creators and what people are doing in the space, I wish everybody well. I want everybody to do their best work and to make things happen. I don't need to talk about an artist's identity or whatever. And to me, the second that stuff comes up, it's always like, well, you must have nothing to say. Like, I want to talk about color theory. I want to talk about design. You know what's funny is a big part of, and I actually don't know how funny this is, but a huge part of the pieces I've been doing, the Iron Age themed pieces, is I went, we have got if there's one thing that postmodernists and subjectivists have done a way better job of, they've created way more compelling artwork, and I should say imagery, because I won't say propaganda. I mean, it is propaganda, but then again, that's a very postmodern thing. Everything is propaganda, right? They have painted more devotional works to their nihilistic beliefs than the opposite. And you can't make devotional work that is anti-nihilistic without first, in a sense, elevating nihilism to be the conversation. And so I actually started really trying hard and thinking about, when I'm making work, that we need to make some artwork that people can look at and post and like and share with people, that isn't, well, everything is garbage, everything is pointless, what's the point of this? No, man, we need to take stuff that we need to do as good of a job with our beliefs as they've been doing with theirs for the last, century at this point. Read the Red Decade. Seriously, honestly. That would be the nightmare scenario. If I ever title a book something like that, come out here and finish me off. One gives us like, yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Groomsman, pun intended. That's beautiful. I want to live in a safe and happy life with this. It's a kind of world. Yes. I guess I have to protect this town like I'm living in it. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Nosferatu nailed it. Yeah. Evil prevails when good men take the black pill. Absolutely right. And just like it's tough to, for example, I realized I can't really, I wanted to paint an Uncle Sam-like character, as you guys know, but I was struggling with that, and I said, I don't really want to paint Uncle Sam, and I'm not going to claim to be painting Uncle Sam. Like, I am and I'm not. I wanted to paint a character that I'm, affectionately calling, still U.S., but Uncle Smithy. Because I want to talk about the craftsmanship and the beauty that is behind the greatness of this country. And then I started thinking, well, what is the alternative to what Rosie the Riveter has become? What is the alternative? And I started realizing that that I didn't want to make a commentary on Rosie the Riveter. I didn't want to make a commentary on anything. I started thinking about all of the amazing artists who have loved this country and who have, frankly, not been misandrous, psychopaths. And I wanted to create a character that femininity could identify with, that femininity and competency could identify with. And I think Rosie the Riveter has become such a cudgel because she's so malleable. She represents something that was going on at a very particular time that was very dire. And they don't acknowledge the history of it. They assume that the history they're living in right now is the hardest that it's ever been, and that, like, oh my gosh, like, anyone is doubting you know, they make very obvious observations, put it that way. You know, people want to talk to me like as if, you know, well, you know, women can accomplish things. Like, if that's something you were really thinking that either you need to hear or you're thinking needs to be said, you probably need to get your head examined. Because last time I checked, the biggest pop culture movements of the last couple of decades were J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter, the Twilight series, and I forget what the author's name is offhand because I haven't read those books, but I know that she's, I think she was from up here, but I think she's in the middle of the country now, I'm not quite sure. There's, oh my god, heaven forbid, 50 Shades of Grey, we could throw that into the mix, and the Hunger Games. So, who are you talking to? Like, look at Lucy Kemp Welsh's horse paintings that inspired me. I'm tired of people with no skill and no ability shrieking loudly and pretending like the people who did have skill have never existed before. I watched this movie that was so insane I didn't know what to make of it, called The Wife, about a woman who's secretly writing turns out she was writing all of her husband's great work, and because she was a woman she couldn't make it. And I'm like going, are you aware of the history of literature at all? Like, at all? There were equivalent millionaires, authors, back in the day. If you want to tell this story, the closer you get up to modern time, the more incredulous I'm going to be as an audience member. I'm going to be like, you would have had people flipping out to hear your story. And it was like a movie that I hated everybody by the end of it. It was like, I hate the husband, I hate the wife. And I'm so tired of that. Like, I'm so tired of the I'm going to use it incorrectly, but Julian Fellows said it once, I thought it was brilliant. I'm so tired of the theater of alienation. I would say the theater of nihilism. I'm done with it. It's over. Laurel is an incredibly beautiful, breathtaking, and inspiring woman in my story. And she's sexy, too. That's kind of important. She's a sexy woman as well. And Nosfero is a good, moral man, and he loves Laurel. And, you know, Greylock is a loving, adopted father who takes care of this orphan. And he wants the best for him. And he wants the best for Laurel because Laurel wants the best for his son. And it's beauty, man. Beauty in all directions. Make it happen. The groomsman. He vexes me. I'm terribly vexed. By the way, Commodus was a little bit... No, we can't go there. We can't go there. Lloyd Burton. Try painting freedom from the capital. Yes, exactly. Amen. Yeah, that's one of the... Was that the fifth freedom? You're totally right. Yeah, history is racist. Yeah, exactly. So is fact. So is math now, accordingly. Math is apparently sexist and racist, which... yeah, that's the kind of stuff that people will say, apparently, ad nauseum in academia, and Mora and Laura, there you go. Nosfero, too, he vexes me. That's what people will say, but they don't want the surgeon or the pilot who thinks all that stuff is abstract. They don't want the subjective pilot, you know? I'm kind of a pilot. They don't want to hear that. So that's what's so funny about it. Yeah, everything's a Jesus story if you try. Yeah, well, you know what the funniest thing is? And this is sort of the illness of our time. Yeah, she asked me. That's a good one. Simply Green, you won that exchange, brother. Everything can be a story. This is the narcissism of our era. Everything can be a story about you if you try hard enough. We're not even really... What they're actually saying is this crappy person of Dracula, or this crappy undead being, if they can be like this exceptional, you know, divine incarnation of God, then I can be. That's what they're saying in terms of, that's the subtext of what they're saying. And don't ever get it twisted, is that it's the subtext is their own ego. The subtext is, if I can make all the villains good, then I'm godlike in that sense. If I can make, you know, if I can take all of the Disney villains and show that they were just misunderstood, you know, people make jokes about this all the time, but it's really true. It's Colin Quinn and Jerry Seinfeld did a show called Long Story Short, and they were talking about this, and Colin Quinn goes, "Don't judge me by what I do. Judge me by what I say I'm thinking when I'm doing it. I'm not shoving you to the ground. It's because I'm scared and I'm lonely. I'm reaching out to you." It's like, get out of here with that. Do you know what I mean? 40% said, "You say that as if surely the madness will stop when the power grids start to go down or bridges collapse, but they will push civilization off a cliff." No, I don't say it like that. I actually believe that all of that stuff will happen if there's no counter message. If their message is so captivating to their audience, and we believe that our message is better, then the failure must be ours. The failure of our message getting out there, that, liberty is productive, that love is productive, that friendships and relationships are important, that individuals are more important than the collective. If we believe those things are important, where's our great artwork saying that? Not just our great artwork, which both are important, but that's what Walt Disney did with his stuff. That's why, you can't build a theme park on Marxism, nihilism, and postmodernism and subjectivity. You can't. Those ideas are too petty, too small to hang something that's big and beautiful on it. But where's our stuff? Where's our stuff? People want stuff to share. Everything, you look at it, it's either them saying everything sucks, and then if we're saying everything sucks because of them only, then we're proving their thesis. But there's a lot of beauty being done, and beauty is not as noisy sometimes as people think, but it is powerful when it's shared. And I think that's the great strength of what we're doing here, is that we're creating beauty, entertainment, enthusiasm, passion, and excitement in the space. And that is bigger than all of the propaganda they can shove down people's throats. And I think that's important. Hello, what's this then? He's Champagne Jetty. So quiet. That's right. Yeah. What is up, my friend? I love that, Champagne Jetty. That's the best nickname I've had in a while, man. God bless you, Ellie Munoz. Godspeed to you, brother. Love seeing you in this chat. It's like they grew up playing kids' games and never stopped. Yeah, that's absolutely what it's like. They play like 2-year-olds. But, oh, God. Yeah. I don't know what Madonna identifies as. Yeah. Colin Quinn is the GOAT. Yes, indeed. That is some great stand-up. If you have not seen Long Story Short, you've got to watch it. It is one of the best stand-up specials. Jerry produced it and wrote it with him, and it's great. Yeah, humanity stopped paying attention for a season. Let's hope that season is over. Yeah, we got to bring it to a close. Well, we got to wake people up. We do. We got to... subjectivity is great, man. If you can use the word woke to mean asleep, you've got it going on. But you've got to... Much like I always say that when you put a cross on something, I don't know if it repulses... I don't think it repulses vampires, because I really don't think vampires exist in a literal sense. But it definitely repulses postmodernists, just like the American flag does. And so one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately is... it's time to take our symbols back. It's time to take our not take them back. It's time to essentially not run from the fight. It's to run from pop culture, right? Good needs action in order for it to work. Let's see here. We're past the point of no return. In my opinion, things will change for the better or worse. We're definitely in the 70s. Watch. I'll tell you this, Simply Green. If you haven't seen the movie Dirty Harry, I highly recommend it. It shows us in a lot of ways where we were, and it's sort of the height of throwing, the badge away at the end, the height of that feeling. And then that's followed by the 80s. I always look to the history of all of the great artwork that's come from this kind of adversity. Do they have a lightning lane for the Karl Marx ride? Yeah, they do. Simply Green, those with morals of faith are the only ones having kids. Yeah, that's very true. I was just watching something 70s rotoscope animation. It certainly has a charm to it. Yeah, there's some cool stuff that happened, right? Star Wars happened in 77, but that was the turning of the tide. For all of you guys who are Lord of the Rings fans, you know who you are. That's what that story is essentially about. Things change, but there's that push to greatness. There's that push to heroism. Defeating evil is a big deal. And the worst evil in the world, in my opinion, preys upon our youth and preys upon people's spiritual well-being. And I have to say this. Here's my argument for good. If every time people had something bad happen to them, they made they had no choice but to perpetuate the evil, perpetuate the bad. In 3 or 4 generations, it would be over. Not even 3. I think it's like 3 or 4. I think it's 3. 3 generations exponentially. It would be over. We're way more than 3 generations into this human experience. So what it tells you is that there's something about good, there's something about justice, there's something about liberty, there's something about truth, something about veritas, liberté, la liberté. There's something about all of this stuff that is elemental, primal, inalienable, and it cannot be killed. Do you know what I mean? It can't be destroyed. See, now you guys know why I don't just stream like when I'm got too much craziness going on, because I want to be here for you guys. I want to be present. Do you know what I mean? I want to be present. I want to make sure that I'm putting stuff out there that's, you know, that is at the very least got to be entertaining and silly, but and hopefully artistically, you know, inspiring on some ways, if not just artistically inspiring. But I really believe in the stuff that I'm saying from the standpoint of we have an opportunity here to appreciate the power of goodness. Like to me, here's my argument against the black pill. Like everything's awful, everything's screwed. You're still a romantic. Here's my subjectivity. Because if you believe in an absolute so much that things are always going to be negative, you are a bigger romantic, or as big a romantic as somebody who believes that everything is good. Everything's going to be good all the time. Everything's fine, everything's good. Those are the 2 naive stages of childhood. And I think calling it out for being childish is important. It's an important part of what we're doing, you know, is to say this stuff is crazy. And I think that's, yeah, Star Wars is the first 80s movie. You're so right. The Roman Empire lasted 300 years. We are at year what? Yes, exactly. That's right. Yeah. Well, the Roman Empire, the one thing the Roman Empire did that we have not done as much, well, we're doing our best, is that they tried, well, funny enough, they tried to get too big, too fast, and too out there. And that's the great thing about it. Let's say this. It's not about how long the Roman Empire lasted. It's about how long the Roman culture lasted. And I would argue that, or I would not argue, but I would say that I can think of a culture that has lasted at this point at least 2,000 years, and that has still continued to resonate and still speak to people and still do that. Roman Empire, you know what, they took the Greek gods, they took the Christian gods. Do you know what I mean? But as far as the governing concepts and the belief systems coming together, you'd be a fool to think that any place couldn't fall. But I think we've got something really unique and beautiful happening here. The real Sean Crummell, it is great to see you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for dropping in. Please drop a like if you would. It's always good for the algorithm to know what's up. But yeah, man, I think about this stuff. Yeah, it's easier to hate than to love. But I will tell you this, man. I see some people, yes, indeed, welcome, real Sean Crummell. I see some people exhausted. Yeah, that's exactly right. I see some people exhausted from hating things. I don't think it's that easy. I think so many people are burning out on just being angry all the time, and that's the funniest thing. It's like we got to do an element of great counterpunching and a rope-a-dope, because it actually, as you guys know, whether it's blood pressure, anything else, the more stress, anxiety, negativity, and fear, which is what underlies all of this stuff you have, the more detrimental it is to your health. So not only is the pursuit of good and the pursuit of doing what's right good for everybody else, it's also good for you to be able to sleep at night. You know, and it's not a complicated thing. You know, it's not a complicated thing at all. In many ways, we've had some of the best wisdom spelled out to us about what to do. It's about forgiveness. It's about selfless giving in so many ways. It's about doing your job and your duty to make yourself the best person you can be in terms of, bringing into full realization what your capacities could be, and then applying them to improving other people's day with positivity. Everybody's got, and improving other people's day with whatever it is that, you can bring to them. And I think that that's a crazy thing about it, is we all have the ability to reach a lot of people. We all have these platforms, or a lot of us do. But what are you going to reach them with? Are you going to do something that improves their day and inspires them? Or are you going to do something that cuts the legs out from under them? I mean, that's your option, I'm one of those people. I'm cynical, but it's time to do something about it. Yeah. I mean, I always say this: like and subscribe. 22 likes so far. Thank you, the groomsmen. I appreciate it so much. Yeah. Nosferatu. This is fine. Yeah, that's what that's what we'll call it. But here's what I would say about this too. Yes, the sleep of peace. If you don't know it, get it. Amen. And so here's another thing I would say: check out channels like Townsend's. Also, do the dishes, clean up your room, as Jordan Peterson said. But tell somebody that you haven't told, hey, I appreciate you, that you appreciate them. You will change the axis of your life if you start making that a mission. You will change everything. How about this? Proceed as if success is inevitable. You know what the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? No, but you know what the greatest trick these people have pulled? They believe that the nihilism, the degradation, and the decay of society is inevitable. Right? Like they've got people convinced. The craziest thing that, to be honest, that we've ever seen happen is that you having the same attitude about good. And I've seen people who there's no reason they should be good people. There's no reason, like if you were to say you should be a good person because everything was easy, everything was good, there's no reason. Who are some of the most incredible people I've ever met. Good was not defeated. It is what it is. And I start with that. Let's start with that as a new phrase. Good was not and will not ever be defeated. Period. End of. Good cannot be defeated. If you've got one side of that equation, you say to yourself, evil cannot be defeated, that's the black pill. It's over. So you got to decide right now which one of those absolutes you're going to lean into with your day-to-day. Evil can't be defeated? How's that going for you? How are you feeling about the day? Your body should be having an allergic reaction at that phrase. Good can't be defeated. Good will never be defeated. Feel what that does to you. Suddenly it's going to free you up. You're going to feel more energy to do things that make that more of a possibility, more of a reality. And you're going to bring that into fruition. That's what it's about. First Comics, it is great to see you, Nosferatu, Electric Boogaloo. It reminds me of the late great Jason Pearson, who described the Superman blue and red suits as Superman Electric Boogaloo, which I love. So important. And this is what it's about, man. Yeah, sleep of peace. Yeah, I was up till 5 a.m. last night, so I'm not the man for it. I'm not good at sleep. And black pill is not forever. It's reversible. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah, you can be part of that victory or choose being conquered, and that's really what it is. A man slaps you on your right cheek. Turn and offer him your left. Good is not defeated. Come on now. Come on now. Approach the world as good has never been defeated. Good will never be defeated. And watch evil cower at your realization of that. They ain't gonna like it. They ain't gonna like it. And that's what it's about. Definitions dealing with local progressives, their idea of good, I'd strongly debate. Well, here's the interesting thing about it, right? They like to think they're counterculture and anti-establishment, so all you have to do is reveal them as the establishment and they crumble. They can't deal with that. If you believe in a benevolent and kind establishment, then you believe that's possible, then you have a much easier time advocating for what you want to do. If you think the idea of absolute power absolutely corrupts, if that's what your mantra is, then by that rationale, the more they start to win, the more they start to prove how evil they are. Like, by what rationale can you succeed in this evil society if you are not evil? That's the problem there. And so, yeah, I say take it to them. That's what it's about. Yeah, I'm not reading that. You guys are hilarious, man. Yeah, definitions dealing with local progressives, their idea of good and evil, I strongly debate. Yeah. You have to just ask, that's why specifics are where things fall. That's why specifics are where things fall. you know, people ask people questions like, do you believe that people can change, right? That people can do this and people can do that, not to be too specific with it. But nobody, you know, they like put you on your back foot, but nobody ever like looks at people and say, let me ask you a question though. So you're saying you believe in eugenics? You got to have a better vocab and you got to take it to them, you know. Have a wonderful stream, everyone. Off to work. And I'm about to wrap up in a second here. We're at 2 hours, my goodness, and the family's home. I want to make sure I say hi. CyberFrog 4, Johnson, you guys are killing me. See you, Lloyd Burton, take care. Yeah, we're seeing that too. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You guys are killing me. Grab me. Yeah, well, listen, we love Inglorious Rex and we love Shane Davis. That's how it works. They've already lost. The best they can do is make you a failure too. That's absolutely right. Yep. Socrates has been a little... Yeah, that's right. Hostman Socrates has been a little while, says John. Indeed, indeed. Unfortunately, some not necessarily bad, but not good people are in control. They have a choice. Yeah. Well, here's the thing about it. Here's what I would say about that, right? Is that in any situation where somebody says you either do this or you lose your job, I can speak to that specifically because people wanted me to teach basically racism. They wanted me to teach Marxism and postmodernism, and I said I'm not going to do that. And they said, well, that's what we're doing. And I said, I'm out of here. And the impact of somebody who is a keystone in what you're doing walking away can't be overstated. It makes the system start to collapse. How many Imagineers walked away from Disney before they realized, hey, we can't replace those people, and they don't want to have anything to do with us? Once those people walked away, everything started falling apart. Universal started picking them up. The biggest service that ever happened to Universal Studios in Orlando and Florida was Disney's mistreatment of its people and executives ruining their process. So I say I welcome those people to destroy other people's stuff, but I will show them the door here. That's just how it works. Yeah, grab Shane Davis's 9 Lives Comics is indeed Inglorious Rex 2. Absolutely. Take care, Lloyd Burton. But amongst all of the dark out there, I'm seeing more and more light. You absolutely are. And it's one of those things. And Host of Socrates, I'm not going to read that just because of YouTube, but I know what you mean. And that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. Amen. But this is the thing I want you guys to see. Meritocracy for the win. And also this too, is that every day choose to win. Every day choose to make good win within yourself, and the rest will follow. When you share good out there with people, you share positivity, it has a huge impact that you might not even realize in the moment. And I realize more and more that I'm operating, I'm acting on, you know, the things I need to do, but there's some other more powerful forces that have led to what Nosfero is, you know, and have led to this book being here. And I cannot wait to share this book with you guys. I can't wait till you get your copy. I can't wait till I get my copy of this book. It has been so long bringing these characters into life, but now it exists. Now I have a book 2 to think about and not breaking the static friction of introducing people to... introducing people to a world and characters that they've never seen before. Now it's about moving it forward. Do you know what I mean? All right, guys. I am going to wrap up because I want to say hello to the Mrs., the great Mrs. Enjetti. Drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed. Share it out. All of that good stuff, guys. It pays the bills. It helps us to keep going. And you guys help me to keep going by being here. So thank you so much for being here. You guys take care. We got this. I'm going to play the old credits where some of you guys... in the chat, you're still going to be listed as channel members because I was not streaming a lot during that period. I'm going to change it up and put new credits up for my next stream, but I just want to make sure you guys were included because I wasn't streaming for a while, and that wasn't lost on me. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your support, for your past. That's why in the comic book it says, thank you to all of my Crypt Walkers, past and present. All of you guys have made a huge difference, and we appreciate you guys. More painting coming, more Lucent, more Razor Fist. Let's keep kicking ass. Take care, everybody, and as I always say, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and my friends, peace. Take care, everybody. I will see you guys very, very soon.